It was May of 1974, and Jaws was just about to start rolling. Only one thing was missing: the shark. It was the key to the film.
In my script, I had the shark in the first scene. You saw the fin, you saw part of the tail, you saw a little bit of the conical nose.
The team had been working on it for months, but this was a production challenge no one had ever faced before.
We had no way of shooting a full-size shark in the water.
The special effects department at Universal said, look, we got too much to do. This is really complicated.
I mean, it would take us 3 years.
Nobody's ever built a 25-foot shark. Forget it.
And besides, we had more important effects movies.
That year, Universal's big films were Airport 75 and Hindenburg.
Jaws was really looked upon as a $2–3 million horror film.
I almost felt like they were hoping we would fail.
Alves couldn't find anyone at any studio to build that shark, so he turned to someone who had just retired, Bob Matty.
Bob Matty was probably one of the most interesting characters that I've ever met in my life.
Matty had built the giant squid in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Now, he started designing a shark on a moving crane.
It took us 2/3 of the way through shooting to figure out whether, in fact, we had bought the right concept or the wrong concept.
In fact, it wasn't just a single shark.
We needed a left shark, we needed a right shark, we needed a head, and of course then we needed the sled shark where it would swim by and we'd see the fins. I think there was like 5 pieces that we needed to make.
Later, the shark would get a name.
Bruce got his name. It's my lawyer's name. I named the shark after my lawyer. He's still my lawyer, by the way.
After months building the sharks on the West Coast, they were ready to ship them east to the special effects workshop on Martha's Vineyard known as Shark City. All systems were go on the shark, but when it came time to test it out, they had a disaster. The shark had worked fine in the freshwater tanks in California, but here in the Atlantic Ocean with the saltwater, their electrical circuits started going haywire.
Saltwater is just, eats everything alive.
But the team didn't give up. The entire shark system was remade using old-school pneumatics, blasts of compressed air to make the shark move.
We had a big compressor on the boat, and the air goes down these big hoses.
So somebody would say, snap the mouth.
Okay, start it.
Air would go all the way 150 feet out to the shark. And
one lever would control the eyes, the fins. There were about 10, 12 guys pulling levers.
It was an ingenious new system, but each day something would break and have to be repaired.
A lot of times we put the shark in the water and it wouldn't move.
we would have to get in and re-weld it, repatch it, re-bolt it, rebuild it, whatever.
And one night Spielberg's pal snuck in and did some damage too.
George Lucas crawled in, the jaw. Well, Steven was trying to work the thing. George was crawling in to see how the hydraulics work, so I think he tried to close the jaws on George or something like that, and the shark broke, and we all ran away like bad little kids.
All the while, Spielberg was intent on keeping everything about the shark a secret, until the day the secret was blown.
Somehow a copy of the carcass of this wooden shark, plastic shark, got into Time magazine or someplace.
Not only did they print that there was a shark and we were building the shark, they snuck into the boathouse and they took a picture of the wrong side of the shark with all the mechanics.
The picture got out and wound up in Time magazine. And it was very upsetting.
I thought he was going to kill somebody. He was absolutely convinced that that was a fact worse than death.
I always thought that if the audience knew that we were working with a big mechanical shark with hoses and tubes coming out of it in all directions on a big kind of gantry with a crane arm that was meant to thrust it out of the water, they could see who was actually in the booth pretending to be the Wizard of Oz, that everybody would not want to come see the movie. They would not want to come see the movie about a mechanical shark.
An even greater concern for Spielberg, with the movie about to start shooting, even with the changes in technology, the shark still wasn't working.
Well, we spent the whole movie worried about believability of the mechanical shark.
It was a joke among the crew that you didn't have to worry about this shark because it made so much noise and went so slowly that, you could get out of the water and you could get off the island before it could get to you.
It kept failing and failing and failing and failing.
All over the island through the radio mics, you could hear,
"The shark is not working. The shark is not working."
The pressure kept mounting as the days dragged on.
And every night when we screened the footage and the shark didn't work, we worried more and more that we had a problem.
the shark never worked. So the film he intended to shoot couldn't be shot.
In my script, you actually saw the shark attacking and devouring Chrissy Watkins. There was much more shark in the storyboards throughout the movie.
But the shark not working changed everything.
I had no choice but to figure out how to tell the story without the shark.
He had to invent on the spot another way of shooting, which was to imply the shark, which made the film a great film.
I just went back to Alfred Hitchcock. What would Alfred Hitchcock do in a situation like this? So imagining a Hitchcock movie instead of a Godzilla movie, I suddenly got the idea that we can make a lot of hay out of the horizon line and not being able to see your feet, not being able to see anything below the waistline when you're treading water. What is down there is what we don't see, which is really, truly frightening.
So they made the decision to not show the shark. And of course, that was, in many ways, the making of the movie.
And that invited the audience to come to the movie bringing their collective imaginations. And their imaginations helped me make that film a success.
In a way, the shark not working would be the key to the whole movie.
Trying to go under. Tell you can with 3 barrels on him, not with 3 can.
All these moments really was kind of a divine providence saying, there's another way, a better way to make this movie, and I better listen. And I did. I listened to the muses.